like, and subscribe below. Thanks.
Shout out to Jason from Bad Attitude Off-Road. Thanks, Jason.
Hey everyone, Brian with Team JTRSPARTACUS here, and we're at Bannon Truck and Trailer to put on this Rusty's 2-inch advanced lift. So I remembered all the Rusty's junk I piled up in the back, but I forgot my GoPros and stuff, so I'm gonna have to just use a camera on my phone. So the first thing I'm gonna be doing is the front lower control arms. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna adjust these out to an approximate length. I didn't find anything on Rusty's site, so I'm gonna use some from another manufacturer. I think I'm using Evo's numbers, but I also looked at Clayton and stuff. They're all pretty close. So the idea here is you just want to kind of get these set at a rough length at the start from, and then get it aligned fully so it's within spec. So I'm going to put these at about 24 1/8 from center hole to center hole. That's a good approximate starter for a 2.5-inch lift. I'm going to put a puck in here, so it's going to be about 2.5 inches. So adjusting these out is pretty simple. There's a jam nut on here. If it's completely tight, just back it off a little bit. This one was loose. And then you just got to turn it like this to lengthen. So here are the front uppers set at 20 1/4 length, eye to eye. And again, it's the center of the bolt hole to the center of the bolt hole. Rear upper set at 16 1/2. Front track bar set to 34 1/4. So this rear one was a little tight, had to loosen it up with a screwdriver. And they have reverse threads on these, both of them. So the rear was 33 9/16 length. All right, we're getting JTRSPARTACUS racked up, and we'll start on the Rusty's 2-inch lift here. So nice shop with big lift and everything. So your mileage may vary, but we're just getting started, and I'll give you an idea of how long it takes to try to break in every now and then. I did forget my GoPro, so we'll have sort of sporadic updates, just doing it on the phone real quick. Working on the rear spring here, trying to get it in. You have to reuse the factory top isolator, and then I've got the Daystar bottom one on there. So there's the factory spring down there, and the Rusty's one is thicker and taller. Index these upper isolators, and there's a little thing sticking up there that you have to put it on, and then underneath there's a little place where the spring actually stops, where it needs to go to the end. So make sure you do that, or these won't be sitting right. I ended up using the spring compressor to get that thing in there, so I didn't want to mess with the brake line, and got it in. We'll do the same thing on the other side now. So rear springs are in, bump stops are in. We're gonna move to control arms now. Control arm lengths are set. And then once the control arm's done, we'll do the rear track bar. So we did have the springs, I showed you that. So far, so good.
The bolt to 21 and the nuts to 24.
21 and 24. All right, on to the rear end link. So you reuse the factory bolt for the top end link, and then the bottom one has this sort of joint thing. I don't know if you can see that, the lights has a joint. So Rusty's gives you a bolt to put in there. So that bolt will go right here in this bottom one. So that's all there is to that. We'll get those wrapped up. So right now we've got control arms on both sides. We got these shock spacers on, and everything's loose for right now. Pulling the nut off the sway bar, so it's completely seized after 1 minute. So track bar's in, both end links are in. After we cut the other one out, All of the control arms are in. Everything is loose still, even the jam nuts. And these are loose. We'll tighten those up on the ground. We'll wiggle everything around. Shocks are loose and everything. We'll get all that stuff tightened up and then we'll go to the front. So we'll make sure that track bar is tight. And it says 90 in the specs. Drilling a 3/8 hole for the shock extension in the back is a little bolt that keeps it from moving around. It just goes through the back of the shock mount there, and it gives you a little extra height. So 3/8 hole, 3/8 bolt goes in there, keeps it from moving.
Please like and subscribe below. Thanks.
Okay, so we're on to the front. So we're going to be taking the end links off the sway bar. We'll take them off. We got new ones. We'll take the track bar off and disconnecting that. We'll be taking all of the control arms off. We just found that it's easier to do everything if you just take all the control arms off. And undoing the shock so the axle can droop, and then we'll get this worked out and get the old spring out and get the new ones in. I do have that Teraflex puck up there. I'm going to keep that. And then Rusty's has a new bottom thing that we're going to use, so we'll see how that works out. So these little covers over the upper control arms are 10 millimeter. Just use your 10 millimeter to get those off there and set them aside. I think we'll be reusing them, but I'll tell you later. Here's the new end links. They're much longer than the factory's ones. They're straight, and the factory ones are bent, so I'm not sure what that's about, but we'll see. We're working on the front uppers. We're trying to put them in and leave the other side right now to compare against, but there's a wide open area at the bottom and they curve. There's a left and right, but they're not labeled or anything, so we're trying to figure out which one's which. So I think we have it, but we're not sure. They're not exactly the same as the stock ones. So we got the front spring out, we got the control arms off. We got one control arm holding it kind of steady, and we got the rest of the control arms off. And now we're going to get the upper control arms, and well, springs next, and then upper control arms and lower control arms. So this is a shock extender in the front on the passenger side, and it has a hole here that's supposed to line up with the Jeep hole, but it's not. It's about I don't know, 1/4 inch off or so. So we're trying to figure out how to correct that. We kind of set it up to see if we could get it to line up and keep this in here, but it's not working. So I guess we have to drill a new hole or egg out the hole. Wrapping up the front end, trying to get the track bar aligned. It's at the length that they recommend, that Clayton recommends actually, because I couldn't find anything from Rusty's. Getting there, a couple more clicks. All right, it's pretty close. All right, everything is hooked up. The control arms are not tight yet. They're the only thing, everything else is torqued. We're gonna put some tires on, get it on the ground, shake it around a little bit.
Please like and subscribe below. Thanks.